Thank you very much for tuning into Pro Life Nova Scotia. My name is John Michael, and we're talking about the most serious. And I knew I was onto something. I knew it. All right, so I'm trying to conclude this matter and all this stuff, but more information keeps coming out. And here's the thing. All right, so let's say, for example, all right, pro life, what is it all about? Abortions and all this stuff. Okay, but we go to the core of the issue, which is the birth control pills. Well, birth control pills prevent pregnancy. No, they don't. They never did, and they certainly mostly don't now. So IUDs, NuvaRing, and all that stuff, right? Will, yeah, the ovulation will be suppressed, and then the ovulation will be suppressed only a percentage of the time, and then the other times there will be a successful fertilization of the egg. What does that mean? It's a baby boy or baby girl. That DNA code has been created, yeah, and the baby is conceived, and what a beautiful baby it is, right? So congratulations, you are a mother, right? You are a father, right? 50% of the you don't have a womb, you can't talk about. Get out of here. I'm the father, right? I am the father, and father of many beautiful children, but I did lose I'm missing a 10-year-old, right? I am missing a 10-year-old. All right, so that's my introduction. Let's get down to the most important part of this video, which is something that I just kind of formulated, which is absolutely true, is that, okay, so the idea is that abortion is a constitutionally protected right in Canada, right? And so Canada, this is, the Nova Scotia, Canada, and all this stuff. So again, listen to the folly of this, okay? So we know that thou shalt not kill. I mean, this is written in our hearts, so we know that. But abortion is a constitutionally protected right in Canada. In my other videos, I talked about how the Canadian law does not agree with medical science. And what do you mean, Canadian law doesn't agree with medical science? Well, very, very, clear. Embryology is very. There's no nonsense, right? It's medical science is clear. The baby is a baby at day one, right? Hour one, minute one, when the sperm will meet the egg, right? That is the starting of a new life. There's a pregnancy. Boom, right there. There's a pregnancy. Nobody's going to disagree, right? No reasonable and learned person, especially not an honorable and just, judge of the Supreme Court, would certainly not disagree with that fact. But they do. They do. How can they? And this is how. The bribery of the politicians. They got some Caribbean lakefront or beachfront villas and all this stuff in the Caribbean with yachts and all this stuff. So what did they do? They took a bribe from the industry executives and all this stuff. And if I'm going too fast, just put it on half speed or something, because it's a lot. I just told you a lot. And I'm getting to the point of this, right? So let's go back to our abortion is abortion is a constitutionally protected right. Well, first of all, that's just not true, because murdering, right, a baby, right, can never be, something that is, okay, it's permissible because it is decriminalized, all right? So let's go back here. Abortion is a constitutionally protected right. Well, first of all, no, because, first of all, it's a crime, right, that has been decriminalized, all right? So you are now permitted to murder, right, made, you cannot allow, the killing of an old person, but now you can, because it has been decriminalized. So this decriminalization. So can a decriminalized act, it's usually a crime, but now it's not, right? Due to this decriminalization. So can this decriminalized act become a constitutionally protected right? I would submit that no, it cannot, right? And of course, anybody can, work through that and see that it's folly. It's a folly idea to pretend that a constitutionally protected right would include abortion. I don't think anybody actually, seriously would, put forward that kind of argument. But, I've seen some wacky arguments in my life, and they were all in favor to, destroy life, right? So the whole point about this, right? So here's the kicker. And now, what do we have? We have the Canadian court system that has been, basically, they're not agreeing. The probative value is 100%. Okay, the probative value is 100%. What does that mean? So let's say, for example, you got this guy, and, is he the real killer? Well, the video can be doctored, there's AI video and all this stuff. So the probative value of a video is, 70%. Okay, maybe he we've all seen, the Ukraine president punching Donald Trump and all this stuff. So is that a real video? Well, it's an AI doctored video. Okay, so, all right. So what is the probative value of the footprints on? There's footprints on the ground. The killer there. That's how they caught that Canadian guy that was cross-dressing and all this stuff. The sergeant guy from the military. He was killing people dressing up in their women's underwear. There was a boot print. I'm sure I forget the name. What's that guy's name? I forgot. I just remember him in this lady's underwear. He's looking at kind of duty. Anyways, what's the point of the probative value? The probative value of the embryology is clear that the baby is a baby at day one, or it's day zero, hour zero, second zero. The new set of DNA is formed, 50% from the mother and 50% from the father. It's clear. So the probative value of that is 100%, right? So then if the courts refuse to acknowledge that due to the bribe of the politician, and, he's got some beautiful lakefront villa, he threw society under the bus. So let's talk about how, just for a minute, how terrible that bribe of the pharmaceutical industry really was, right? They really did put our society, they did a tremendous disservice to our country, right? So these politicians are the only reason that the courts will disagree with medical science? Well, it appears to be so. I mean, I didn't try the case, right? I'm not going to... I'm not fixing to actually do that because it's a waste of time, because I know that I'm just going to lose. So why would I file a case that would lose? I mean, discovery, I should probably do it to be able to grill Dr. Michel Dow on the stand. Did you know that you were, prescribing abortifacient birth control pills to these? Did you take advantage of the ignorance of these young girls, right? Were these minor-aged children of the intellectual capacity to understand that you're not preventing the pregnancy and the baby will die at the later and very natural stage and healthy stage of development, which is implantation, right? I should grill her on the discovery. This discovery is going to be the best part ever because... she's clearly guilty. So what do we have? What do we have at the end of the day? A waste of time, a complete waste of time, right? Because what's going to happen? Let's say, for example, there's a mass murderer on the loose. Okay, there is a mass murderer on the loose, and she's, her name is Dr. Michel Dow. She killed so many people, more than Robert Pickton. So it's one of the greatest Canadian serial mass murderess ever, right? So she killed more people than Robert Pickton. Put that into your head, right? And understand the gravity of what I'm talking about, okay? So she's a mass murderess, and the court system will not indict. Why will they not indict? Because, I'm getting to my point here, I promise. Why will they not indict? And it's because they don't agree with medical science. Okay, they don't. Okay, so what kind of court is this? Some sort of, jungle or whatever. We'll get to the jungle in a minute. I promise. There's a point to this. I promise there's a point. So certify a class action. No, you can't do that because the law disagrees with medical science. Okay, and the politician's got a bribe or whatever. Okay, well, that's a drag. Whatever. So then, a declaratory relief. We were talking about that the other day. You can check that out in my other video. Declaratory relief, right? So surely we could at least... I don't want any money. I don't want any jail time. I just want the truth. They're not even going to give me that, right? Why? Because the court disagrees with medical science, the legal personhood or whatever. So that's how they believe. Let's go back to our, the constitutionally protected right of abortion. That's nonsense. How can you even have that? That's murder. Thou shalt not kill. You know that. Thou shalt not kill. And then you're going to try and have that decriminalized act, right, into a constitutionally protected activity, right? So you can never... goes against, anything that makes sense. You can't have... Let's say, for example... but that's how... Once you... Okay, here's my point. Okay, I promise I was getting to the point. I'm sorry about the introduction, right? So hold that... Everything that I just said, that whole piece was the introduction leading to this. The courts have been found, without any doubt at all, the Canadian justice system has been found to be brought into disrepute, right? That the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute by their own selves, right? They have done that. I'm not the one arguing that. I'm just pointing out that's what they have done, right? They have brought themselves into disrepute. The administration of justice, it goes beyond inefficient. It goes beyond incompetence. It goes beyond just bias. It's just plain nutty. I don't know what you can call it, but whatever you want to call it, it has been brought into disrepute, right? The administration of justice has been brought into disrepute. Let me say that again, and I want you to understand the gravity and the weightiness, if that's even a word, of my submission here is that the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute, which is the whole point of what we're trying not to do, but they're doing it, right? Who did it? Well, is it really that politician that accepted a bribe, or is it really that honorable learned judge that it fails to agree, if you will, or just what is he doing? He's disregarding the evidence. The probative value is 100%. You have no right to disregard that evidence. You have no right at all to disregard that. That evidence is 100%, right? It is clear as day. Medical science is clear. Embryology is clear. The baby is a baby from day one, right? There's no, well, it's only a baby when the heart beat, or it's only a baby when it can cry, or whatever. Well, you see in the belly of the mother, you get the ultrasound there. You see the baby. I mean, it's a baby. It's a baby, right? Babies are cute. Right? I love babies. Right? Babies are great. I get a bunch of babies. A whole bunch of babies. I love my babies. Now, and this is the whole point of it. What happens to a society when the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute? What a great question. What happens to a society when the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute? Where's the authority? There's no authority, period. There's no authority, right? So it's just a complete jungle, right? So that's why being in Canada is just, it's a criminal government. You can see, and this issue alone is the cornerstone reason why that you can see that 100% that every institution, and if you look closely to the government of Canada, they are so unbelievably wicked. I mean, it's an evil empire or whatever. Well, whatever it could be, but the authority is not there. So, where does a government get its authority? Well, where did they get it from? Well, from the gun or whatever, or from the king's power or whatever. Well, from the king's mouth there should be, and this is a monarchy, right? So Canadian, the King of England and all this stuff. Well, there's whatever you want to go there, but the problem is that when the justice system, if I was, the king, trying to put some order into my country, I'd make sure that the justice system is, reputable, right? So the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute. What happens to a country or a society when the administration of justice has been brought into disrepute? What a great question, right? What an important question. And the answer, of course, is the authority is completely non-existent. It's just not a country anymore. I mean, what is it? It's all a jungle, right? So the government is very important that you understand. It's just a bunch of armed thugs with no authority, and it's just a free-for-all, right? So just a free-for-all. So I would certainly encourage you not to pay into that system. I mean, if you pay into that system, you're complicit with this ongoing crime, right? So again, let's go back to the basics. Thou shalt not kill. You cannot turn a constitution. You cannot decriminalize murder and then turn it into a constitutionally protected activity just because you choose to arbitrarily strip the person from personhood because you're arbitrarily, disregarding medical science for just because you want to kill a baby, right? It's quite, and my family is a cornerstone of this issue here. We get Dr. Michel Dow killing so many babies, and I'm just trying to say, and the most perverse thing about this, I got about 1 minute left, is that they will not even go through this. They will not even follow the logic here, and they would just say, "Oh, Dr. Michel Dow is a wonderful doctor, and how can you speak bad about her?" And then I'm the crazy person that has no idea what he's talking about, and let's just continue living in our delusion. Let's just continue living in our bubble and all that stuff. Oh no, and that's the thing, the Dr. Michel Dow is such a pillar for women's rights and all this stuff. No, she's not. She's a murderess. She is a murderess. I mean, the facts are clear. There is no greater injustice in the history of humanity than this is right here. And all my family's at the center spotlight of this. Hey, anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to Pro-Life Nova Scotia. Fighting for a cause. I mean, what is the cause? I mean, maybe the cause is lost, but it's got to be talked about, I guess. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is John Michael. We're now in my workshop. Going to be welding and all the stuff in here. Some angle bars and flat bars and plates and everything. We're going to be welding some roof brackets on top of my house. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video.